Hello and welcome to today's YouTube video. Today we are going to do a little compilation of community comments, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts on some new fasting trends that have hit the internet. So welcome. If you're new here, my name is DYANN. I am a fasting mindset coach, which means that we approach intermittent fasting from the mindset approach versus the nutritional approach, changing our habits and creating a lifestyle around intermittent fasting so we can look and feel our best and live our most authentic life. If you are a regular here, welcome back. I always appreciate you taking some of your time out of your day to spend with us. So I love doing these videos where I just screenshot some comments from our YouTube videos and I read them off and answer them here in more of a group setting. I know sometimes we don't always see the comments, and some of these comments that I have screenshotted are worthy of taking it into a further conversation and not just a text response. So hopefully you will find some useful information in the information I'm going to share with you today. So let's get started. Okay, so the first question is, how do you maintain a healthy weight once you reach your goal and not get too skinny? So the beautiful thing about our body is that it wants to keep us thriving and it wants us to be in a very healthy state. And so intermittent fasting is not anything that's going to put your body in a state of unhealthiness as long as you're approaching it from a healthy mindset and using some healthy concepts. So what I recommend once you're at whatever your goal weight is to look at your life and how is intermittent fasting fitting into your life. Do you need to open up your feasting window a little bit more? Do you need to schedule in a couple of days where maybe you don't fast and then you have a couple of days where you fast longer? The beautiful thing about creating an intermittent fasting lifestyle is you have the opportunity to massage it and create a way that it can fit into your life so you can benefit from all the things that intermittent fasting can provide for us. And knowing also that intermittent fasting is not just a weight loss tool, it is a health benefit tool. So maintaining some aspect of intermittent fasting for the rest of your life will benefit you from the health standpoint. And then you just adjust your feasting window and or the days that you're fasting to accommodate your overall goal. But your body will not eat away at itself as long as you are fasting correctly and feasting correctly. Okay, so this question was directed toward me personally. Do you adhere to any of the many different eating styles out there like keto, low carb, and paleo? So the short answer to that is no. I have created my own feasting lifestyle based around the foods that I have really tested out and determined allow me the best opportunity to look and feel my best. They support what it is I want from my fitness side of what I do in my life and my social side of what I do in my life and what I do with my family. And that's really what I recommend for most women is find the foods that work best for you and try not to adhere to someone else's diet plan. Most often, there are going to be things within those plans that if you try to follow them perfectly and say, I'm on a keto diet or I'm, paleo, there's going to be some kinks in that, and the kinks are usually what throw us off track, and then we use that thrown off track aspect as a reason to quit doing things that we could be benefiting from. So what I recommend doing if you don't know where to start is just test out food. And intermittent fasting is a great environment for your body to have a test run on food, because when you're in a fasted state, your body does have the opportunity to reset itself and balance things out. So then when you enter into your feasting window and you incorporate a food into your body that your body can no longer tolerate, it's gonna let you know pretty quickly that that food is not agreeing with you. And if you're listening and being really honest with yourself, you can start to make a list of the foods that work for you and the foods that don't work for you. And then at the end of some of that experimenting, you will have created your own food or nutritional lifestyle, and you'll just rotate in the foods that work for you. This works beautifully, especially if you have a family or you have a social life that you enjoy around food. You're not going to find yourself in, that tight box of rules where you're not allowed to eat things. Once you determine if something works for you, then you're fully allowed. You give yourself permission. You don't have to ask permission from anybody else to incorporate those foods into your life on rotation. And when you find a food that's not working for you, you just put that on the side. And then, like I said, you just rotate the foods that are working for you. I think a well-rounded and balanced nutritional lifestyle is the best once you have figured out, some of those foods that aren't working well for you. I'm personally not engaging in a lot of gluten type of foods. I just don't have a good reaction to those in my body. I have determined which dairy foods work for me and which dairy foods don't work for me. So I'm semi-dairy free, and then 100% I am a soy-free person. Soy just does not work well for my body. And so again, I've learned that through a series of tests. And then I just rotate in foods that my family enjoys eating, that's easy for us to, keep stocked in our house, easy for us to find on a shopping trip, and easy for us to put together in the kitchen. And that is how I've created my lifestyle, and that's how I really teach women how to create their own. Okay, another great question. What can be used for breath freshness during a fast? So the sensation or the taste you get in your mouth when you are fasting, especially if you're new to fasting, is really the byproduct of your body's energy system switching over from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. And so we don't want to wash away that taste in our mouth, because that is a good sign and signal that things are working in the right direction. And if you pop a mint in your mouth, or you pop a piece of gum in your mouth, or you drink a soda or something to rinse out your mouth, you've just ended that beautiful opportunity that your body has created for fat utilization. What I recommend is drink your water. Just drink water throughout the day. Maybe even put a pinch of salt in your mouth. That's all you really need to do to kind of change the pH makeup in your mouth. And that's enough to make you feel like you have a fresh breath. We don't want to put spearmint or peppermint or bubble gum or any of those kind of flavorings into our mouth, because if you are still in that insulin resistant type of atmosphere, or your body is not really regulating properly yet, then you could put yourself back into that sugar burner mode and completely kick yourself out of the destination you were headed, which is becoming really efficient at draining those tanks and getting into fat utilization. With time and consistency, that sensation and taste in your mouth will start to subside, because your body will become so much more efficient at utilizing fat as an energy source that you won't have that byproduct in your mouth like you usually do in the beginning. So that's a good sign, and that's another one of those things to look for, so you'll know that you are actually on the path that you want to be on with energy utilization. And then the other beautiful thing about intermittent fasting that I don't think we talk enough about is the fact that your mouth will just become healthier with consistency over time with fasting, because you're not putting a bunch of things in your mouth throughout the day that can cause bacteria. And so your breath will just become normal. Now, normal breath is not something that a lot of people are comfortable with or even familiar with, because we are in that kind of quick fix, pop something in our mouth kind of society. And so if you are that person that's used to like mints or cough drops or gum or flavored drinks to kind of change the taste in your mouth, that's not a normal thing. And we want to just go back to a neutral flavor and scent in our mouth, and that will happen. And that is a very good indication of a healthy mouth. My dental visits get better with time as I age, which a lot of people really can't say is happening for them. As we age, we expect our teeth to fall out, we expect gum disease, we expect, having to get root canals and all of those things, just because our mouth is also getting older. But if you take care of your overall health, you're not constantly putting sugared, flavored, processed things in your mouth to change the way your mouth tastes, your mouth will also have an opportunity to heal itself. And that's really what we want to make sure that we're doing, because we don't want to just age. We want to make sure that we age well. We don't want to have no teeth at some point or have to have all of our teeth replaced. And we want to make sure that we're keeping that retirement money in our bank and not paying our dentist. So keep your mouth fresh, keep your mouth clean, let it go through the process of what it goes through when you start intermittent fasting, getting to that place where your body starts to get efficient at utilizing the energy sources, and before you know it, you'll just get used to a neutral mouth. Okay, one thing that I totally am super excited to be able to share in today's video is a testimonial from one of our graduates. She is near and dear to my heart. She's also in my midlife mindset shift course. And this is from Mary. She graduated from class in August 22. I will make sure that I put her comment here so you can read it all the way through. But why I wanted to share this comment is because Mary has lost 65 pounds since she took the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, and that was in August 2022. And Mary has kept it off. And the reason she has kept it off is because she changed her mindset about how she's caring for herself and how food shows up in her life. She says, I live every day as my most authentic self and have never felt healthier. As a 74-year-old, I feel younger than when I was 40. She says she ebbs and flows with her IF and busy life and keeps her eye on the prize, aging healthfully. And that's exactly the goal that we have here in our community. We don't want to just age. We really want to age and keep our health intact. Mary is living proof that you can change what it is you're doing in your health and how you're taking care of yourself no matter what your age is. You just have to make the decision, make the mindset shift, and then implement the very, very simple approach that we teach inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. So y'all give Mary some love down in the comment section. She is absolutely crushing it. So the question is, what clean foods do you eat during your feasting window? So clean foods are really determined by you, the individual woman. Clean foods for someone else may not be clean food for me because I have a completely different genetic makeup. I have different customs and exposures to food. I have a completely different food history. I have a different gut microbiome. And so what foods work for me or what I would consider clean may not be considered clean for you. And this is where I say you have to run the tests. For me to say that I am, pretty much gluten-free and I have designated dairy that works for me and doesn't work for me, that may not apply to you at all. You might not have any issues with gluten, and maybe you're completely dairy-free because you have a dairy intolerance. So the foods that I'm choosing to eat might not necessarily work for you. This is the beautiful transition that takes place when you start intermittent fasting. You give your gut an entire 20 hours, especially if you're fasting clean, to reset itself. And an empty gut is a gut that has the opportunity to heal itself. When your gut starts to heal itself, you will be surprised at how crystal clear your body will send you messages letting you know that what you're eating is working for you and what you're eating is not working for you. There may be foods that you think aren't good for you and could be perfectly fine, but because someone else has determined they don't work for them, you're questioning the food for you. Run the test. The best way to run a test to see what foods are clean for you is what I like to call a 30-day permission without punishment test. Pick a food group. Let's say it's dairy, for instance, and you're going to test it for 30 days. You take all dairy out of your life for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, this is where the permission without punishment comes in. You evaluate how your entire life felt for you without dairy for that 30 days. You might have missed some things in your life, and maybe that's not worth it to you. You might have noticed that you're not bloated anymore, or you're not gassy anymore, or your migraines went away. And this is where you now make a list of foods that you have cut out and you start to test them individually. I believe that there is no such thing as bad food. just food that you have had the opportunity to determine might be bad for you. And this is where the testing comes in, and again, the permission without punishment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a cookie now and then. But if the cookie is full of gluten and soy and dairy and those things are making you sick, then that particular cookie is not working for you. Go find a different version. The same thing happens with yogurts and cheeses and pizzas and all these foods that a lot of people have put in the bad category. They may not be bad food for you. It might just be some of the things are in that food, and this is where doing the test is so crucial. So I have all the foods that I know that work for me, but they work for me because I have tested them. Do that work for yourself. And do it while you're fasting so that your gut also has an opportunity to heal itself. When your gut is healed, you also have the opportunity to reintroduce some foods that you once thought were problematic but might not be problematic for you anymore simply because your gut microbiome had a chance to heal. Okay, last comment from YouTube. This person must have had some sort of personal agenda on my YouTube channel because she left several comments that were pretty similar to this. And I pretty much let her know that we're not that community, but I wanted to address it in case someone else sees it. Her comment was, food should never be enjoyable, tasty, etc. That was all that I really needed to read of this comment because that is absolutely not a true statement. Food is not the enemy. We need food to survive. Food should be enjoyable. Food should give us energy. Food should make us happy. Food should give us joy. We use food for socializing. We use food to connect with family. We use food for a lot of really good reasons. What we want to make sure we're doing the work on, and this is why I am a mindset coach and not a nutrition coach, is how is food showing up for you when you're feeling a certain way? And are you allowing food to do what its intended purpose was, or are you using food in an inappropriate way? Once you figure those things out for yourself, food actually becomes really fun and so much more enjoyable because you take the shame out of it, you take the guilt out of it, and you take the self-sabotage out of it, and you actually get to enjoy food for what it's meant to do for us, and that is sustain our healthy life. So this person also went on to say that we should only be eating one meal a week. Again, that is absolutely not true. We need to eat enough food to support what it is that we say that we really want so that we can look and feel our best and go out and live our most authentic life. I'm a runner and I'm out there 5 or 6 miles a day. There's no way I could live my life on one meal a week. I need to replenish my body every single day. And I replenish my body in a way to support the life that I say that I want. So the reason I wanted to call out this particular comment is as a warning. Make sure you are not letting yourself be taken down a path that makes absolutely zero sense for you. This might work for this individual person, but in our community, we do not make food our enemy. Food is a tool that we use to have a happy and healthy life, and we use it in appropriate ways. Okay, so the trend or the information that I saw recently, I think it was this weekend, and it was on YouTube from a very famous intermittent fasting person, and it was about fasting and snacking. And I guess some study was done about incorporating certain foods into your fasting window and what it did for the subject matters. And so I don't really want to go into the details of all of that. What I want to go into is why I think that this type of marketing of intermittent fasting is not doing us any favors. We know that fasting is fasting and eating is eating. And when you combine the two together, or you incorporate eating into your fasting window, I don't care what study is done, you're not fasting, you're eating. And if you really want to benefit from what fasting has to offer, you have to fast and you have to put your body into a fasted state, especially if you want to benefit from all the healing properties. Here in this community, we talk specifically to women over 50, women who are frustrated with their body fat that they can't get rid of, the fact that their body is putting on weight and all the things that they've done before to take off weight are no longer working for them, the fact that they're not sleeping, that they're depressed, and then they end up using food in ways that are no longer serving them. And this is where intermittent fasting has been the powerhouse for hundreds of thousands of women who are in this age category and are transitioning through the seasons of menopause. We learn to sit in a fasted state. We learn to manage the power of being hungry without any quick fixes, without any distractions, without any little satisfactions that we need when we feel uncomfortable. It is the most powerful practice that you can put into your life that will make you feel like you are in control of your life. So if you start incorporating snacks, even if you're starting from what the approved list is, what if then you get in the habit of just snacking and then you have a bad day, or you don't have the approved things in your list, but your body's so used to eating something at that time of the day that you just start to go randomly eat. And then you start putting things back into your fasting window. And of course, what ends up happening is we're not fasting at all. Then we start to lose the benefits that we got when we were actually fasting, the way fasting was intended to take place in our body, and then we blame fasting. Fasting is never the thing that's at fault if you're not getting the results that you think you should be getting. It's always going to be the decisions that we make about things we are putting into our body. So I personally think that snacking during your fast is not a healthy approach, especially if you are a woman who is feeling really frustrated and you're unable to make any changes in regards to your body fat, your body weight, or your relationship with food. Now, if you're an athlete or you're happy with where you are, you've been fasting a really long time, you've healed a lot of things with your emotional and mental connection to food, and you want to start incorporating some food back into your day for a longer period of time, I think that that's great and it's totally worth the experiment. But please be honest with yourself. Don't tell yourself you're fasting if you are in fact feasting. So again, be very careful of titles that you're reading and marketing that you are seeing. It's not always going to be applicable to you. And I think this intermittent fasting conversation and the boring everyday 20-hour clean fast and 4-hour feast that is the sweet spot for us, and it is working so beautifully for us, is hard for people to talk about because there's not a whole lot to say and it's not very sexy. We sit around for 20 hours a day and do absolutely nothing except get out of the way of our body and let it heal itself, and we choose 4 hours to consume the foods that we have determined work best for us. Y'all, that's not sexy. And it gets really hard to talk about after a while because it's so simple. We don't need to muck it up with a bunch of these extra little rules and exceptions that just give us something extra to talk about. So if you are a woman who is thriving in the 20-hour fast, or you are a woman who is frustrated and don't know what to do, I highly recommend jumping into the 20-hour fast. Make it squeaky clean. Spend some time in the power of what hungry feels like, because hungry is where all the magic is happening. And trust your body. It's an amazing opportunity to just sit back and watch your body heal itself. So before I close out today's video, I want to share one more comment that came from our dear friend Angela, who is also a graduate of the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. Angela took class in January of 2023, and when she came into class, she could barely walk. She was in so much pain. Angela lost 100+ pounds, and because I have received emails from Angela, I also know that her family has also incorporated this intermittent fasting lifestyle and have changed their lives as well. Her thyroid is back to normal. pain, inflammation, skin tags, all gone. Jump into class, she says to you. It saved her life, and that means it can save your life as well. You'll never know what your body has the opportunity to heal from until you put it in a healing state. And that's exactly what I teach you how to do inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope we touched on a topic that maybe you were curious about. Use the comment section down below. I am the one who's going to be in conversation with you, so I would love to have an opportunity to get to know you. For all my OGs and graduates of the Intermittent Fasting course, please leave a message down below letting other women know what you've experienced as an intermittent faster and graduate of our course and member of our community. We are paying it forward to this huge community of women who just want the opportunity to look and feel their best and live their most authentic life, just like you are. If you are interested in jumping into class with us and having this amazing opportunity with creating an intermittent fasting lifestyle for yourself, I will leave all the information down below in the description box for you, and I will also leave a card here for you. Get on my email list. I will email you about a week before we have our next class registration and give you all the information that you need so that you can make an informed decision for yourself and jump into class with us. Have a great rest of your day.